We are back. Episode 35.
35 of the BSG podcast, brought to you by our friends 18 Birdies. We'll get into that in a minute, unless you want to talk about that.
We can talk about it right now.
Talk about 18 Birdies. Zach's going to tell you all about the number one GPS app.
Number one out there.
We're not just saying it. They really are number one.
Yeah, and we played them since it was free. Now we're sponsored.
You'll use the link in the bio.
Gives you all the course layout. You can do the overhead views. You can count your score. You can play different games with people. Like we played skins.
Yep.
You can keep up your scramble score now too, so it doesn't affect your handicap.
All kinds of games.
And you can watch your trend. You can look. Like I hadn't shot above 3 digits this year, unlike some of us here.
Oh my!
But it's all verifiable on 18 Birdies.
It is.
You can count your putts, chips. Hazards, balls lost, everything. Fairways
found, your gers. It shows everything. Post round. That's my favorite thing after the post round to go look at your stats. It's neat.
I used the course preview this on Friday before I went to this new
Where'd you play?
Played a new course. Zach's playing it later this month. Are you still playing it?
Yes.
We can't say why he's going on that trip.
Or can't say why.
Can't say it? Okay.
After next weekend, you can say.
Really?
Yep.
Right.
Okay. Well, hey, we got some exciting news for y'all next weekend.
I went to the lovely Purcell Farms.
What'd you shoot?
A 91.
From 6,400 yards? I thought you were like an 83 golfer from 64.
I would have loved to have shot an 83 that day. Like, Blake shot at 86, and Jeremy was like at 95.
Jeremy said he was whooping you on the front nine. And
he
then,
did. No. He did whoop me all the way until hole 9, and he tripled 9.
That's typical Jeremy fashion.
Couldn't shake after that.
Yeah. How was what'd you do on the I
hit a good shot. It was going dead center of the green. The pin was in the back left corner, and it was going dead center. It just flew over the fringe, and there's a big fan up there on the back of the green. And it landed right under that fan.
So was your ball on the green?
No.
What'd you say in that text? You said
nobody gets up.
No, you said if you don't hit the green, don't come home.
Don't come home.
Why?
And he didn't.
All 4 of us would have had to stay there because
nobody made it.
Nobody hit.
What was the yardage, and then what did it play as?
We shot it without slope, and it was
172.
Yeah, it was like 170. Well, the pin was in the back, so it was like 176 or something like that. And then the actual yardage played about 148.
The only reason I know the distance because I've started researching.
On 18 Birdies?
I'm playing in the head, yeah.
Yeah.
That's another perk of 18 Birdies.
It does show you that.
Yeah, you can look at that.
With it being like 45 degrees the whole day,
don't blame the weather.
Definitely played a little bit longer.
I'll have a caddy whose talent is very similar to our guest caddy's talent.
Oh, you think so?
She does not know what she's doing.
She's probably going to say, that's a pretty hole.
Yeah, that looks nice.
Get
out the cart.
When you're driving up the hill, that's honestly the most interesting part about it, because I mean it's like a roller coaster. Like you're just going up it in the
So
cart.
you didn't see anybody famous there? No Micah Morris?
No, sadly I didn't see
Brian Bros? Nobody?
No, nobody.
They're always there.
We're gonna have the camera when I play. I'm filming it as a solo round. We're gonna do 2 balls and see what I can do as a solo scramble.
Was the owner guy there, the Purcell guy?
I didn't see him.
Oh,
I didn't. We talked to he may have been the superintendent, and we were unloading our stuff in the parking lot, and he brought us 2 carts down there while we were getting all our stuff ready. He was like, y'all are supposed to bring y'all's bags up there to the bag drop. And
I've never done that.
No.
Yeah.
That could be the drop zone question today. Do you drop your bag at the bag drop?
No, at Callaway Gardens is the only place that I've seen. I avoid them because I know that you got to tip them. And I ain't trying to tip nobody.
I ain't trying to tip Rounds
I ain't trying to tip nobody. Cash staying in the pocket. I already lose enough cash when we play.
I want my bag there so I can put my wallet and everything after we've paid.
That's true. How quick do you get your bag off the cart before they say, can I clean those?
So quick.
Got to get out of there.
You'll leave your towel real quick.
If one towel touches one iron, that's $3 right there.
Oh, I'd believe it.
Can't do it.
You want us to clean them irons? No.
I clean them. Mine ain't been cleaned in about 3 weeks.
I don't even clean them myself.
All right, y'all ready to hop into this?
Yeah, so he's going to give you – well, he's already told you the thing, but we're about to have on an amazing guest. She's huge on social media, on her way to the LPGA Tour. We believe she's going to be there. Maybe wearing a BSG
the first
hat.
BSG athlete.
Wearing it.
Possibly.
Yeah. So hope you enjoy this interview. Check this out.
Today's guest is someone who has rode the wave of golf social media from when it first caught fire in the mid-2010s. She has plenty of collegiate playing experience, played in several professional events on the WAPT, and is still grinding on the Epson Tour while managing to share her experiences with her social media following. We're going to talk today to her about her journey through college and the transition to a professional career while keeping her goals in sight. And without further ado, please welcome Hannah Gregg to the show.
Awesome. Thanks, Hannah. Was that
Hi,
right?
thanks for having me. Yeah, that sounds great.
You're like
Yeah,
4
yeah.
You nailed it.
Before we get into asking questions about your background, our first question today is going to be, do you think that you can beat us three? There's another guy that's supposed to be here, but us four in a 4v1, us four scrambling versus you on your own ball.
How good are you guys? I've only seen your videos where you hit like 10 putts a day. And
That should be enough.
Yeah.
That should be enough for you to see. No,
I
we're
mean,
like,
you usually
15
play
to 18 handicap, most of us.
yeah, Mitchell's the guy that's not here. He's closer to that 18. We take pride in our 15s.
Yeah.
Brady's more like an
Uh,
11. But as a 4-man, I'll say this: we only shoot like
Or
6
or
under.
a couple under.
Yeah,
You know, I
think-
like my odds. We'll say that.
we're gonna have to make a trip.
Yeah.
Do
I think we
it.
can-
Come out. That would be so
We're-
fun.
Yeah, we'll get that plan because that's like our #1 series on our channel right now, and
Yeah.
we have been beat. So we're trying to reestablish the wins. So we'll come out.
Okay. Sounds good.
So we'll jump into some college golf. How would you rate the experience you had playing college golf? And is there anything that you look back and wish that you would have done differently?
So my college golf experience was tricky because I did 2 years at a small Div 2 school. Like I had some Div 1 offers out of high school, but I knew in my heart that I was not good enough to travel right away. And I talked to my coaches about it a little bit, and they were like, we see a lot of kids go to a Div 1 that, you know, is this big name and they're so excited, and then they don't get better because they're not traveling. And at that point, I knew I wanted to turn pro. So I was like, I have to spend the next 4 years getting better. So I chose Sonoma State because I really felt like I could be a part of that team and get better and travel. And they were a good D2 school. So it's not like I was guaranteed to travel, but I knew that would like push me to get better. So my 2 years there were, I'm so glad that I went there and did that. I got to go to nationals. I got to travel almost every week. I was on a team of, it was a good intro because Div 2 golf is very different than Div 1. Even if you're not at like a top level Div 1 school, the level of seriousness on those teams when you're just like a normal Div 2 is very different. So it was a great like launch pad for me. And I learned so much, and getting to go to nationals is something that like not everyone gets to do. I think they say like 2% or 3% of athletes get to experience national championships. So we did get last place, but that's fine. I was there. I got to go. So that was a really cool experience. And then I was good enough at that point, and to myself, I don't know why I had this, but I just knew that like girls who play professionally and just at a high level in general, most of them have played in Division 1. And there are a few outliers, obviously, but for some reason in my head, I was like, I really want to experience Div 1 golf, and I want to play against really good girls and see how I stack up before I turn pro. So I asked around and ended up transferring to University of Nevada, which like could not be more different. It's a huge football school and basketball school. The budgets are so different. The facilities are so different. I mean, they really treat you like pro athletes there. So I had 2 super different experiences. I didn't have like the greatest time in college golf. I had some, I mean, as a lot of people do, like me and my coach didn't get along very well for whatever reason. We just never really clicked. And I mean, I don't regret my 3 years at Nevada, but I do think that if I could go back now, I'm probably better equipped to like make it a better college experience. But yeah, I think I wouldn't probably go back and change anything. I learned a lot. It was a good time in general.
Awesome. What were some of your aspirations or goals whenever you were in college and nearing graduations? I think you had some journalism and golf media in sight.
Yeah, so are you leaving?
Sure.
I studied communications and journalism. My goal was to major in journalism, but you guys probably know that like eligibility kind of determines when you're a transfer, you don't really get to choose your major, or you'll be there for 7 years. So I ended up going with comms and a minor in journalism, which was great. When I was little, I wanted to be, do you guys remember playing lessons with Holly Saunders. They used to be on
Oh
Golf
yeah, on the
Channel.
Golf Channel. Yeah.
Yeah, so she would play
They
like
don't know.
18 holes.
Before she went on the level. Yeah.
It was different back then, but
Yeah.
so she used to like play 18 holes with PGA Tour pros and LPGA Tour pros, and like she was good, so it was really fun to watch. And she would ask them questions, and that's literally like what I wanted to do. And then I was like, so if I don't do pro golf, I would love to be a broadcaster. So I studied some broadcast journalism. And then after my first year at Nevada, I went into my coach's office because she had played on the LPGA Tour. And I asked her if she thought it was possible for me, like what she thought of me turning pro, and if she'd allow me to redshirt on scholarship for a year before my senior year so that I had a little more time to get better. Because I started golf kind of late, and I just felt like the more time that I have with these facilities and these coaches and all this stuff is just going to be an advantage. And she was like, yeah, I think you have the demeanor for it. I think you have the chance, so do it. And I got to stay for a redshirt year, which helped me out with finishing my major and everything as well. So my goals when I graduated were to finish. Obviously, at that point, you're kind of like, I've been in school for 5 years, like I'm ready to be done. And then we, as a team, I don't think at that point we had ever been ranked above 82 or something like that. So our team goal was obviously to like crack the top 50. I think they've done that now, but not while I was there. So we had some team goals. My personal goals, I was starting to dabble in like the Instagram thing at the time because my friend Audra, who had already turned pro, she shared with me that like making money as a pro is by far the most important and the most difficult part of like sustaining a pro career. And I just thought that Instagram might be a way to kind of offer something back to sponsors potentially and say like, hey, I have this ability to market and I have this platform that maybe will be beneficial to you in exchange for whatever came down the road. So I just wanted to be ready. I knew social media was kind of the next thing, but I graduated in 2018. So Instagram was already alive and well and all of this was happening. So I felt like I was behind then, but now I'm like, wow, okay. Now people who are like, everyone's doing it now. So yeah, I think my goals were to prepare myself for the next level as best I could, find a way to make money so that I could play professional golf, and then just, get out of Dodge and make a plan.
I want to go into something that you recently started with Frederick, a website that honestly helps probably more players like us get better at their short game. And y'all's website has tons of training aids, including putting mirrors, the laser, chalk pens, and the aim kits. We wanted to know who introduced the idea of the short game gains and what its purpose is.
And Brady just bought one today.
I actually bought the laser today.
Oh, really?
That was all me, guys. Come on now. That was all me.
The Mizuno hat. I love it.
Actually, Hannah is all the brains, and I'm just bringing the looks.
We need to get you in the video then.
Yeah, you should. Yeah,
Yeah.
you should just have a video of me and listen to her talk. I got my Swedish parents there. Otherwise, I would join. But it looks like she's killing it.
Awesome. Thank
Nice
you.
to meet you back.
Yes, sir.
Bye, Fred. See you. Next question. No, I'm just kidding. So it's kind of it's like a hybrid. So Fred and I started dating before I had graduated college, so 2018, and he was kind of like starting to do Instagram stuff, but I think he had like 8,000 followers and had just kind of hit a wall, and he was like, I'm just gonna do golf, like I don't want to focus on that. But he was still kind of keeping up with it, and I remember he was like, when we first started dating, he was like, you need to help me get to 10K because I want to be able to swipe up on my story. And I was like, okay, I'm sure we could make that happen. So basically short game gains was a combination of me not seeing what I wanted. Like I had all these things that I really wanted to exist in the market that like just weren't really findable. Like there was no place you could go where I could be like, oh, I'm really bad at distance control. Like I'm going to buy the distance control kit. So that's kind of what started us talking about it. And Fred is just like through and through, he is just a golf nerd. Like this guy just absorbs golf information anytime he can, any place he can get it from. So he was like, oh, well, I actually have had ideas for this training aid for a long time, and I wish this existed. So like when we started dating, the conversation started very quickly of like, we would love to do something ourselves and own something and be a part of something a little bigger. And also just like as golfers, we really didn't see what we wanted to see on the market. So it kind of came together in that way. And 2020, we both had tour status, but tournaments literally weren't happening. And Fred is not American, he's Swedish. So he was on the Form Tour. And literally, if you were not an American citizen, you could not get into Canada. So it was really unfortunate for him. I had like not very good status on Epson, but everyone was showing up for every event that year. So like if I had a chance to get into an event, I'd always be on the bubble, or I wouldn't be able to make it to the tournament in time. So we basically had all of 2020 with all this time, and we were like, now's the right time to do this. Then we kind of ran into the issue of like, nobody is spending money this year. Like, this is a horrible time to open a business. Should we be doing this? And it just so happened that golf exploded that year. So we got lucky in a lot of ways, but because I majored in journalism, I had a lot of experience with like Photoshop and Adobe Illustrator, and I could mock up all of these products and the branding that we wanted. And Fred could send it to manufacturers and say, can you build this for us? So we had so many little things like go our way. And in a lot of ways, we always thought like, how did this work out? Like, how did two people start this thing? Two random, basically kids. But yeah. Now it is what it is, and it's like getting so big that we're gonna have to start outsourcing more and more of it. So it's really exciting.
Well, Brady needs it, so I'm glad he bought it.
I know my putting it's been bad lately. So
Okay, what did you get?
I bought the laser. I saw it in your last video, and I was like, that looks like something I need.
The laser is by far our best-selling product. The second is like our ultimate kit that has everything in it.
Yep.
But it's really funny, like, some people, if you look through the comments on our post about the laser, it's called the precision putting laser, and people will see, we set it up on a flat putt usually for videos just so people can see the visual of like, if I aim it at the hole, that means I'm aiming it at the hole. Mm-hmm. But every time we post this thing, especially on TikTok, people will be like, there's curve on greens, you know. Like, that thing's not going to work unless it's a straight and flat putt. And we're like, you have to explain to them, like, you point it where you're aiming.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
you can aim away from the hole.
You
It's
have to
just
break
really,
it down
really
for
funny.
'em.
Like, we realized very quickly that, and you know, since 2020 happened, a lot of people are beginners. So like, we really have to explain that stuff in a way of somebody who maybe came from another sport and doesn't automatically know what a putting mirror is or whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
One of the things that I really liked, and I think I spent probably my whole lunch break was watching all of the different drills on the website as well. So that was one thing that I really enjoyed that's just like included on y'all's website. Like, you can go in there and get a free lesson or a free drill.
Yeah, so we kind of want it to be more than just like, oh, you have this tool, now go use it. Because a lot of feedback we got was like, okay, I know one drill with this. Yeah. I know how a putting mirror would work for eyeline, but what else can I do with this? And so we wanted it to be kind of a library where people figured out how they could actually get better using our tools instead of like abandoning them. So we have on all of our products, they come with a little QR code that leads you straight to those videos with tutorials and drills. And there's some for distance control. There's some if you're struggling with start line. There's some that explain like what is start line, reading greens, all of that stuff. And honestly, we just started the video library not that long ago. So that's going to keep growing and growing. That's one thing I'm really excited about.
Side note, when you and Fred play, who wins?
Fred is really good.
Oh, so we don't need to challenge him then?
He's so good. So I've beaten him a few times, like straight up. Yeah. He doesn't give me... This is how I know that I'm playing good right now. Like, ever since the beginning of this year, Fred won't give me strokes anymore. Which inside, like, feels really
it's
good.
It's done got too competitive.
Used to be like, okay, take 2 shots per 9. Like, I don't care. But now I'll be like, hey, do I get 2 shots? And he's like, no. I'm like, sick. So he beats me a lot. And he does it without mercy. Like, he will literally, if he has a 30-footer on the last hole to beat me by like 6, he's draining it. He does not care. Honestly, I wouldn't have it any other way. We're both so competitive, but He's a great person for me to be playing with because it's really hard to practice all the time every day when there's nothing on the line.
Yeah.
And for Fred, it's like everything's on the line every single day. So it works out great.
So where do you feel like right now you're putting, and it could be evenly, but majority of your focus is like the social media, the business, the chasing the tour? Like what's, if you want to reach out and grab one, what would it be?
So this is something that Fred and I talk about all the time because we would delete Instagram off of our phones and give short game gains away immediately if we could. But we just don't, like, all of the things that we do that aren't professional golf are just a means to literally be able to afford pro golf.
Yeah.
So we've gotten very creative over the years of how to do it, spending the least time. Like our Instagram stuff, we'll take one day and shoot content for as long as we can. And then we kind of like put that stuff out as we go. And we've had to be really efficient because, I mean, like pro golf is not something you can just half-ass. It really isn't.
Yeah.
So we've had to be really creative about time management. We have now outsourced like fulfillment of short game gains. I don't know if you guys can see, but I'm in our like stock room right now, which is just our guest bedroom. It's like our office and where we hold all of our inventory. So we have a fulfillment center in Augusta now. So we don't fill orders anymore, which has been unbelievable for our just like time and ability to practice and stuff. But yeah, we would basically quit everything else if we could. We just can't afford to. So everything else is just basically fundraising so that we can afford to have an apartment, play golf, and go to tournaments.
So when the PGA put into effect like the stipends to help the guys that were trying to make it, does that affect you with the LPGA? Do they have anything for y'all as well?
No, so nothing has changed on the LPGA Tour since LIV has come around. Mm-hmm. I've heard like rumors that they're going to start a women's tour, and I really don't know what that will mean for us.
Yeah.
If they do, and the LPGA partners up with them, I'm sure that will mean more cards available on the LPGA and the LIV, which is good for me either way.
Yeah.
But it seems silly now that we have the stipends in place. Like, how was that not there before? Because people were literally spending money to go to work and lose money on certain weeks just because they maybe, it's not even like you weren't doing your job as well as you could. It's just like things didn't fall in your favor. So now you're like $5,000 in the hole.
Yeah.
So that part is now looking back, you're like, how is that fair? And how were they getting away with that? But it doesn't affect us right now. I was actually just with Stacey Lewis a few weeks ago, and we were talking about things that she would change on the LPGA Tour. And she's like a big proponent of getting healthcare for all the players. Oh, yeah. And like, I thought they had that. It was like, what do you mean? You have benefits? So little things like that. Like there are so many people always think once you make it to the LPGA Tour, you're like living large, and you're just not. Like the purses are getting so much better, and if you're in the top 50 on the LPGA, you are doing very well.
Yeah.
But there are so many expenses that people just don't know that fall on you, and it's I'm learning that now as I move up in the ranks. I'm learning about all these expenses.
Yeah, to go on with the women's professional golf, do you think it's getting the attention that it deserves, or is the media still struggling to find a way to get it to the spotlight?
You know, it is getting there. There's a lot of the closer I get into the industry and like the deeper I get in talking to people, and like Stacey mentioned this too, I was always wondering why the coverage is so different for women's golf. Like even when you're watching the tournament on TV, it's shown so differently. And maybe it's like the journalism nerd in me, but the camera angles are different, and the way that you watch who's playing is different. The featured groups are different. Mm-hmm. And that Stacey was saying they just have less staff. They have less cameras. Like it's quite literally there's less of everything there. So it is, obviously now is the best time that it's ever been to be a female athlete, especially in golf. And it's the highest paid golfers have ever been on the women's side. That doesn't mean that everyone's making a living wage, which I think is the goal. Yeah. I think in the U.S., since we are like the biggest stage of women's golf, I think that's something that everyone's aspiring to. The goal is to raise purses every year, and the commissioner is putting that at the forefront of things that she wants to get done, which I think is awesome. It's going to take time, but the thing that bothers me is not that it's not there yet. It's that people kind of deny that like there's work to be done. And a lot of
Exactly.
people think that, yeah, a lot of people are like, well, it's just because no one wants to watch it. And my response to that is, do you think that when golf was on TV in the 70s and 80s, that people watched it the way they do today? Because they did not.
Yeah.
Like the interest was not just inherently there. It had to be built. The product has to be marketed in the right way. And you have to deliver a product that people want. And the more that I hang out with people who discover the LPGA and the players on it, and they learn the stories and like the background of the girls, they become interested and invested. They just didn't know that that was available before. So, I mean, to put it like frankly, the people who say it's just because no one wants to watch women's golf are just like a little bit uneducated on the actual statistics and like how all of that works and what goes into making something a quality product. But I see it moving in the right direction, so I'm happy about that.
My goal for golf now is for all tournaments to be covered the way the Masters is, where you can check every
Yeah.
shot
Oh, yeah.
for every player. Because, I mean, sometimes you're not just watching for the top. You don't want to see Rory and Justin and all them. I want to see some of the smaller guys that just made the cut and got the invite to it. And I want to see how
Totally.
they're playing through the day instead of just the highlight of 4 great shots and they finished 2 over par. That's it.
I agree with you. I honestly think that's a large part of why people don't understand like the mini tour aspect of golf, because some people don't even know what being on the cut line means. Like they think, oh, he just didn't play well. He just lost a lot of money and he lost a lot of ranking points, and
Yeah.
that's going to
Yep.
change a lot of things. For people who are, bobbling on the cut line, that could change the rest of their season. So I wish we talked about that stuff more. I understand like everyone wants to see like Bryson hit bombs and all of the really good players play well, and Tiger's always going to be the needle. But I want to see like the back end stuff too, where people are struggling and like clawing their way up to the top. I think that would be really interesting.
Yeah, Zach and I, we don't know about Brady yet, are going in February to Melbourne, Florida to watch the Moon Golf Invitational. It's a women's college golf tournament. We interviewed last week the lady that she owns Moon Golf and she's putting it on. And so we're excited to go down there and see the girls, how they play. And she's going to get us some media passes and let us interview some people. And so that'll be our first taste of.
Yeah, we'll be inside the ropes
Yeah.
essentially and try to get a
You
better
guys
handle
are
on
gonna
that.
film.
Yeah, so we're excited about it.
That's awesome. I can't wait to hear how you like it.
Yeah, we are.
That's what I think, that a lot more information just isn't out there for like the women's golf. Like I want to be interested in it more. Like I like to, be involved with stuff, but like when the information isn't, available, I think that's the real problem, honestly. Like you said.
You literally have to fight to find out
Exactly.
when the LPGA is playing, who is playing, and then you have to like stream it somehow.
Yeah.
And it seems like it's different every
Oh,
week.
yeah.
Like what time it's on. You're like, okay, well now I'll just check on Twitter. Like it's fine.
Yeah, I'd love to see more. So it was like 2 weeks ago, the QB shootout where they only had 2 of the LPGA golfers, but the mixed tournament with the men's and the women's, I'd love to see more like that where they're playing together, maybe team aspect, like a Ryder Cup style, but LPGA and PGA.
Yeah, look at the buzz that came from that.
Yeah.
The thing that annoyed me a little bit is the guys acted like they were like, who's this Nelly Corda girl? She's so good. She was number last year. Like, you should probably know who she is.
I know.
But like something like that moves the game so quickly in the other direction. Like it really does speed up the process of getting everyone excited about women's golf. That event is so fun to watch, even for me, someone who watches golf all the time.
Well, even Lee Trevino on the range, they put a quote, like a statement out that he said that he didn't care about anybody's swing. He sat on the range and just watched Nelly Corda her swing the whole time, and that he said it was just so smooth and the way they strike the ball. They just said it's completely different watching them play golf. I would love to.
Yeah, well, Nellie's a freak, so I mean, anyone should sit around and watch her. She's ridiculous.
Her sister's on there too, isn't she? Aren't they? I
Uh-huh.
was about to say, I remember watching a tournament and it was them 2 at the top battling for it.
Yes.
That's
Yeah.
sick.
All right, so we can, I guess, get off the rants for a minute, but we can ask a few more questions. One thing we all want to know is who is in your dream foursome. So you and 3 others.
Does Fred
Okay,
make
well,
the cut?
Fred, well, so this is the thing. If Tiger's there,
Yeah.
Fred would like probably kill me for not inviting him. So
He can caddy. We'll
he
count him
can
as a
have-
caddy, so you can still pick 3 people.
Yeah. Oh, perfect.
Yeah.
He actually he'd probably kill me if he couldn't play too. He'd be like wanting to ask questions and stuff. So definitely Fred and Tiger. That would be a lot of fun. The third spot, I would say my dad, but my dad is, this is so mean, but he's like so embarrassing on the golf course, you guys. My dad is not a golfer.
Yeah.
So he doesn't follow like etiquette or rules. And if he walked in like Tiger's through line or something, I would probably just
Just walk right through his putt.
That would be so
Cleat marks
embarrassing.
everywhere.
You have no idea. So one time my dad, this is a funny but sad story. My dad, I usually go back to California to qualify for US Open qualifying, which is 36 holes in one day. And just so I can like see my parents and catch up because I live in Phoenix now. So 2 years ago, I asked my dad if he wanted to caddy for me in US Open qualifying because I thought we got carts because my dad is like 55 years old and should not be caddying 36 holes in a day. We did not get carts, but he still like toughed it out, which was so sweet. So he was pushing my cart all day at Marin Country Club, which is not flat. It's in like San Francisco area. And so on the first hole, he was chewing nuts loudly in another girl's backswing. And like it would be fine if I said like, Dad, shut up, and he was like, oh, sorry. But he like gave me attitude. He was like, she can't hear me, like just leave me alone. And I was like, I'm gonna fire you. We're not even one play, you're gonna be fired. And he's like, okay, so then we get to, I don't know, 4 or 5 holes in, and he starts reading out like the yardages and stuff in the book. And this other girl's like kind of getting ready to hit. So I just say like, lower your voice, Dad, whatever. And then he goes, what we are not going to do is go in that water over there. And I was like, she's on the tee box. What are you doing? So like, I just know that if I brought my dad, he would say things that he should not say. And Tiger would probably leave after 9 holes.
Has he caddied for you since?
No.
Oh, okay.
He's not allowed back.
He's fired.
No. No, he's definitely fired. I don't think he wants to be hired back, to be honest. That was probably like one of the worst. I shot like 76, so we're not even in it. And this guy's like busting his ass, pushing my clubs uphill. I'm like, I'm so sorry.
Oh, man.
Disappointing the family.
Oh, no.
But I don't know. I need a wild card for my 4th person. That's TBD.
Yeah.
What's your lowest score in a tournament?
So it actually happened last November. It's 66, and it's at what are they called? There's 2 courses right next to each other in Florida at like the PGA headquarters or whatever. What is it called?
I'm not sure if
I don't even remember what they are, but I'll look it up and tell you guys later. But yeah, so I shot 66. And it was match play, but it was like points match play. It was a weird tournament format. So you had to finish out all your shots. But like match play is wild because you don't really know what your score is because you only care about being like 1 up or 2 up or 1 down or whatever. So I just completely lost track of where I was. And Fred was just standing there with his eyes like this big, like we've never played this good before. And he kept it together really, really well. He was a great caddy. But yeah, so that's also my best tournament finish. I shot 66, 71, 69 in the 3 rounds. And the competition and the format was kind of funky. So your girl didn't make money that week, which was tough.
Oh, no.
I was like I think I was half a point or 1 point away from making a check. And I was like, I don't like this.
Oh, man.
So in case we ever decide to come out to California, what is your favorite course that you would recommend to us playing there?
Okay, so are we talking about like
what we can
private?
Public.
Yeah,
Public.
public.
We have to get on.
Definitely public.
We don't have his money.
Unless you're pulling us onto the course with
Oh, yeah,
you to
yeah,
play.
yeah. That's true.
Yeah. I mean, I'll bring you. If it's private, maybe I can like bring you guys with me or
Yeah.
something. I have no idea. But so the one course, my favorite course of all time, that's kind of on the line between California and Nevada. It's called Clear Creek Tahoe. It's in State Line. It is the nicest course that I've ever been on in my life. And it's up in this area that's just like totally untouched. It's basically in the middle of nature. It's a Corin Crenshaw, which is my favorite course designer, which both of them are my favorite course designers. I love Corin Crenshaw's. And this place is in Tahoe, which I don't know if you guys have been to Tahoe, but it's literally one of the most beautiful places in the world. It's very well preserved. It's two of the most beautiful lakes literally in the whole world, with the clearest water that you can see all the way to the bottom. Like, it's crazy. So Clear Creek Tahoe is up there in like my most beautiful, I would recommend as a private course. Like, you have to go. If we're talking about somewhere that you guys can just go, Spyglass and Spanish Bay, like, you got to do it. And people, this is what's weird to me. People talk about Spanish Bay as if it's like this, like, nothing, doesn't matter, who cares about it.
Mm-hmm.
I was so impressed by it. I thought it was such a cool, challenging golf course. Almost every hole you can see the water. It's built into these dunes. It's so cool. And then Spyglass obviously is just like a cliche. Everyone says it's the best course of the three, whatever. So Monterey, California is definitely a spot that I would go to. I don't have a ton of like Southern California picks. I mean, Torrey Pines, when it's in good shape, like if you go there right after a tournament's been held there, is just one of those places where you're like, oh, this is why people believe in God. Like, this is one of the most beautiful places I've ever been. But yeah, those are probably some good ones to start with.
That's all.
Well, awesome. We appreciate it, Hannah. We won't take much more of your time, but thanks for having on, and a lot of good stuff.
We'll have to get you to come to Atlanta to play.
The ATL. Come down to
LaGrange.
What?
So, wait, where are you guys? Are you in LaGrange?
Just south of Atlanta.
Yeah. Do you know LaGrange?
Oh, I do know LaGrange, because this is so random. So I've been there. I've played Highland Country Club.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So my boyfriend went to school in Atlanta. He went to Clayton State, that you guys just met. So he was living with a host family in LaGrange after he graduated, when he was playing on the Asian tour. So when I first started dating him, all the times that I went and visited him were in LaGrange.
Oh, wow.
And so we played Highland all the time, and his coach is in Atlanta still. So we used to make quite a few trips out there. But I was like, you guys sound just like my friend that works for Bridgestone, because your accent is like that. That's so funny.
Yeah, you have to come to LaGrange. And we have a course that we kind of call home. It's the Fields. It's like a link style course.
Cool.
But we play Highlands too, but we'll have to have you out and come play the Fields.
That would be so fun. Yeah, Fred's gonna freak out when he finds out.
Yeah, tell him we're LaGrange people too.
Yeah,
I will. Yeah, we go out there a few times a year because we're sponsored by Bridgestone.
Mm-hmm.
So we do get like a couple of trips out there just to catch up with them and do some like product testing and stuff. So that would be really fun.
Yeah, and I want to get with Fred. Yeah, and I want to get with Fred on planning a trip in Sweden, because one of my favorite groups on YouTube is No Laying Up, and isn't that where they?
Yes,
I think they're there now.
That's right.
Yep,
that's right.
So I would love
funny.
to.
Literally, we were there at the same time as them. We spent almost all this summer in Sweden. I was playing some let access events.
Yeah,
and they kind of asked, like, "Do you want to play? Can we make it happen?" And it was Fred's grandma's birthday the day they wanted to play with us at this really nice course, and I was like, is she really gonna care? Like, can we please just go? And she's like, we can't go. So, but yeah, those guys are great. I think they made some really cool content out there. Sweden is a sneaky good golf destination.
Would love to get out there.
I was gonna say, tell Fred he's gonna be on the pod soon.
Yeah,
we need to get him on here too.
For sure, he's up next.
We'd love to. Well, thanks, Hannah, for coming on, and we appreciate it.
Thank you guys so much. That was a lot of fun.
See ya.
Thank you.